amongst the Arsenal players. I mean, none of them exactly covered themselves in glory, did they? But
there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever that the first name that comes to mind is Mesut Ozil. You can spend the whole match looking for Mesut Ozil to do something that changes the dynamic of the game, and it doesn't happen. It does not happen. And if you're an Arsenal fan, at some point you just want him. Can you just at least sprint at full speed at one point in the game? Maybe sweat a little bit, maybe get in a tackle, win a 50-50 ball, do something. But much like the rest of Arsenal, whatever Mesut Ozil did came up short. Whatever Arsenal did also came up short.
I would echo the comments that Lee Dixon made at the weekend here for NBC Stateside on the commentary. We're talking about Ozil and Sanchez during the game. He said, who do you think will stay? And he said, I think Sanchez will go because he's a winner and he wants to improve, and clearly Arsenal are not improving. But Mesut Ozil's in this sort of comfort zone where people like us sit and give him stick, but he'll say, I'm a World Cup winner, I'm quite happy in London, and quite frankly, he's got the look of a player who doesn't really care, but he's not alone. Look at Hector Bellerin. 3 months ago, people were talking about Barcelona. Wing-back would be perfect for him. He can't get in the side for Oxlade-Chamberlain. You've got a midfielder in Granit Xhaka who just can't tackle. And you've got a front man in Olivier Giroud that can't run or hold the ball up anymore. It's endemic in that side. It's not just one player. It's more than that. It's almost every facet of that team.
let's bring Ian into the discussion. Ian, where do you stand on Arsenal at the moment? Who gets the biggest share of the blame pie for you, the players or Arsene Wenger right now?
Well, Wenger's taken a lot of stick, and maybe some of it is due, but the players have to take a fair bit of it. That blame from yesterday's performance, tepid would be a kind description, and that's happened a lot. They look a very bad team, tactically a bit clueless, and Wenger looks like a man without a plan, doesn't he? Spurs were better all over the pitch. They romped to victory, and Arsenal don't seem to have an awful lot about them. The club seem to be in a bad place at the moment, and they will be, I think, until they sort out whether Wenger is staying or going.
Key factor is the fact that Arsene Wenger is tactically inept, and that was highlighted against Spurs at the weekend. He set his team up in a 3-4-3, and he was expecting Spurs to play exactly the same way, and that would have cut out a lot of the tactical responsibility. But because Spurs played with a two-man defence and they put Dyer into midfield, it meant that Arsenal at times were outnumbered in central midfield, and even more importantly, were outnumbered in the wider. Davis and Son played 2v1 against Oxlade-Chamberlain. So it meant that Arsene Wenger, after 5 minutes of watching the game, should have gone to the side of the field and changed one or two things. He should have sent Sanchez further infield to go and mark Dyer when Spurs had the ball, and then run off the back of him when the ball changed hands. He should have pushed Ozil onto Vertonghen. He should have pushed Giroud onto Alderweireld. The wing-back should have then pushed on to Spurs full-backs, played 2v2 in midfield, and then Arsenal would have had a better shape. But it didn't happen. He didn't do anything about it, and suddenly Arsenal were in trouble. Before the game, he also made a bad decision. Last week we saw Giroud struggle against Manchester City. They tried to play long ball to him. He didn't get enough possession. He didn't bring others into play. So there was no way that I thought Giroud should play in this game against Spurs. Welbeck had to play because Tottenham hold a high line. They like to press the ball, and their major weakness is lack of pace in behind, particularly in behind Vertonghen. Welbeck had to play. He didn't come on until late on in the game, and when he did come on, he played as a right wing-back. That was the wrong decision. Eventually he was played up front for the last 10 minutes, and a couple of balls were played in behind. Lloris had to come and defend them, come out of his box, and that's what Arsenal should have been doing right from the outset. Arsene Wenger got his tactics wrong once again. He wasn't able to change during the game, and he got his team selection wrong right at the beginning. A woeful performance by Arsenal and Arsene Wenger.
You've not had a good afternoon, have you? You
had
to watch that, and then 606 callers were feeling sorry for you.
Sorry for me.
Sympathy.
Yeah, it was a hard one to take, but credit where it's due. They were very, very good. Deserve everything they get at the moment because they've been working very hard for the last couple of years. So
a complete performance, Mauricio Pochettino called it.
Do you know what? They're playing with a confidence and an arrogance, if you like. They're all at it. They work together. They know what they're doing, which is a big difference tactically. And, you know, we're going to see that. I mean, they switched back to the 4. Arsenal played the 3-4-3, where they played when they beat City. Fair enough. He thinks, you know, we beat City, bit of confidence. Tottenham went back to a 4, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a 1, which is how they've played for a lot of the last 2 years. So they all knew the jobs, and it won the game. They did Arsenal tactically. Talk about effort and application later. 2v1 down the sides. Sanchez and Ozil, who were either side of Giroud, should be getting back and doubling up, and they didn't. I don't know whether they were told not to or they just didn't want to do it. So you've got midfielders coming out from the central areas, not knowing whether to press, not getting near the ball. This is both sides, all the first half. Here, Oxlade-Chamberlain ends up as a centre-half and Gabriel's right wing-back. I mean, that's a shambles. Because Oxlade-Chamberlain's not a centre-half, just in case anyone didn't know. And they didn't... It looked like they were just put together and they weren't talking. No one was saying, get back here, help me. The back three here, one's pressing into Dele Alli. Gabriel's dropping, so he plays Kane on side. Trippier's out too easy. No one's helping Sanchez out. He's probably just been to press the goalkeeper. It's just too easy. I mean, they don't have to do anything to get in the box. When they get there, there's a 4v2. Ali's in at the back, in the middle of the full-back in the centre-half. Son's on the edge of the box free. Oxlade-Chamberlain somehow prevents Dele Alli from getting the goal. And look, Tottenham, while they're attacking, still organised at the back. And what it says to me is that you've got one coach who works damn hard at making sure the players know what they're doing. And if they don't do it, they don't play. And on the other hand, you've got a group of players who don't particularly look tactically like they know what they're doing.
And this is hypothetical, so it might be difficult to answer. But if that had been the other way round, and Spurs had been struggling in the first half and had been caught out with a new formation or what the opposition were doing with their formation, Mauricio Pochettino would have changed it a lot quicker than Arsene Wenger did today.
Possibly, but the other difference with that, even if Tottenham were having a bad day, like early in the season I saw them having a bad day against Liverpool. Liverpool at White Hart Lane tactically did them. They were causing them a lot of problems. But the Tottenham players were digging in.
Yeah.
They were all getting back. They were all trying their best to stay in. And then, and I didn't see that with Arsenal. And that's got to come down to the coaching staff and the manager.
So digging in, well coached, well drilled, all doing their jobs, knowing what they're doing. The complete opposite of what you saw from your former club.
Yeah, and it was sad to see. You know, this is a North London derby, and you know, you look at like this instance here. You look where Giroud is. We're going to see him at the top here. He's got to get himself in here. He's got to get himself in between those two centre halves. He doesn't do it. The ball comes back to Oxlade-Chamberlain. When we stop it, great ball to him. Sanchez running into the channels, brilliant stuff. No one goes to support him. Look, still no one in the picture. This is North London. No one in the picture.
What happens now? What happens now for Arsenal?
I don't know. Arsene Wenger, they projected Wenger out on Ivory last night. I still believe that the owner, Kroenke, and his son Josh, something's got to be said now. The silence is deafening from them. I believe that the Arsenal fans, they deserve to hear something from them. What direction the club is going in now. It looks like there's a good... we may not finish in the top four. A difficult game against Chelsea in the final. If Arsenal do not win that and don't finish in the top four, somebody from the board have got to come out and tell the fans where this club's going.
If you were both 23, 24 this summer, about to go into the prime of your career, and both Arsenal and Spurs make a bid for you, and they'll pay you exactly the same amount of money, who would you sign for?
That's probably one of the easiest questions, isn't it? You go to Spurs all day long.
That's a really tough question.
But if you're being honest, it's not a difficult one because one's doing that at the moment and the other one's doing that.
Well, that's, you know, it's
then attention turned to the North London derby.
Live television, you know, with my club on the floor and Tottenham flying. I'm not going to say the answer.
He wouldn't suit the new style kits, mate.
No,
not at the moment.
He's not the only one. But it would say on the title, even though the gap is still 4 points with 3 to go.
Well, they have to believe. The fixtures suggest that Chelsea would have to really mess up. But while they're playing like that, and they've got the fans behind them, go out every game, enjoy it, win your games, and just keep your fingers crossed. You never know.
A testament to them.
OK. I am sorry about that.
No problem, my friend.
You're going to tell me off.
It's not about me. It's not about me.
No. You're going to have a go at me during this next game, I know.
What does that tell us, Graham? Yeah, I think there is a power shift. You know, there's a question mark against Tottenham going to Wembley next season, but this is a really good Tottenham team. I think they'll make that adjustment. There can only be something in their heads. It's not about the player. The player is good enough to win games on any football club. This is a young team that should only get better and stronger and have the potential to win big trophies. I say big trophies. Certainly Premier League in the years to come. But they've got to accept that every other big club, City, United, hopefully Liverpool, hopefully Arsenal, will all strengthen as well. Part last year, didn't they? Drew it on a Monday night at home to West Brom, Tottenham. I think the manager would have been slightly worried, you know, having lost to Chelsea last week, but they didn't deserve to lose to Chelsea last week, but psychologically they're damaged. So he's thinking, let's see what we get today. And they've turned up today, Spurs. You know, Spurs were very good again today. I think Arsenal made a bit of a game of it, really, until they scored. And then there were 2 quick goals, but the minute Tottenham got their goal, the first goal, there's only going to be one winner. This is a different Spurs to any Spurs team I can ever remember. I think they've genuinely got something about them.
Played very well today against Spurs. They're a joy to watch right now. This is what's left. Chelsea, Middlesbrough at home. They travel to West Brom. Watford at home. Sunderland, already relegated, at home. As for Spurs, West Ham Friday night, followed by Manchester United at the Lane. They travel to Leicester and Hull. And I think, Graham, that's why you said earlier that today was probably the defining day, despite the fact Spurs have won. Craig, you're of the same opinion. It's Chelsea's. And that run-in is the biggest argument you can give us why, is it?
Yeah, well, 3 home games, Middlesbrough, Sunderland and that. Spurs, 3 away games, some tough ones as well. Obviously, they've got Man United at home, that's their only home game. But West Ham away is always difficult. It's a real derby. But yeah, I just, in all, 2 of the best teams in the league, but I just feel this season Chelsea have just about deserved to win the league.
And that's concerning for Tottenham, isn't it, that they last year were knocking on the door, fell apart. This year closer.
Yeah.
Have they got enough to get over the line? Because they'll need to sometime soon, won't they? If it's not this year, yes.
Well, I would imagine there'll be people leaving and there'll be people joining. You know, I think you can never be happy with what you've got, and I'm sure Pochettino's series and his team, he'd want to strengthen. But he's got a great base to work from, hasn't he? With some fabulous players. For me, the bit about this goal is Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
It doesn't matter it's 2-0. Young football player. And as a midfield player playing against him, I would not enjoy it, because what he's going to do is always going to run you back towards your own goal. You know, as the play develops. A lot of the football today is they're all attracted to the ball. They all want to touch the ball. It becomes a bit of a five-a-side. Square pass, square pass, square pass. What he gives Tottenham, which is quite different, and I'm thinking of people like Barkley, for argument's sake, who was so earlier. They all want to go to the ball. What he does, he'll watch the play develop, doesn't want to get involved in it, and he'll run into the box all the time. And because of his frame, you can see he's light framed, and he must be 6'2". I was in the same hotel as him last summer in Portugal. I mean, he's lean, and he's got for me, he's got the eye of the tiger. I think he's destined.
But he's
to be a
tall
top
as well,
man.
isn't he?
6'2", and he's got that frame that will allow him to. He can run into the box with pace from the first minute to the 90th minute at the same pace. You know, quick, aggressive, and it's the hardest type of play to pick up. He's arriving late. He's prepared to run forward without the ball. He will evolve as he gets older into maybe a different type of midfield player. But right now, he's someone you would not want to play against, because he's always going to be running you back towards your own goal.
Maybe he'll evolve into a Scholes, because Paul Scholes, largely, when his career started, used to do a lot of what Dele Alli did. Score goals.
Yeah, probably end up picking when he wants to get into the box and time his runs, which he does it brilliant now, and he's got energy all day long. And it's interesting to see, because someone breaking the lines that way makes a world difference. But he's I'm a huge fan of this guy for one of the biggest reasons as well, and for even academy football, he is the prime example who he went and played League One football. So he come through a League One system. I say a League One system, but he was playing at 16, 17 years of age,
and
learning the trade
in men's football.
In men's football. Like I always class him with younger players, say a Loftus-Cheek, who was everyone wanted. At the same age, everyone wanted this kid. You know, Chelsea, even Barcelona, they all wanted this young kid. He's going to be the best player going.
It's been a very well spent $5 million, hasn't it? It really has. Big thanks to Craig for joining us this past week. Graham's here for the Monday Night Football tomorrow. I'm old enough to remember a young Trevor Stephen playing his football at Burnley, and all these years later, still going.